of a rectangle is 5 less than twice the width. The area of the rectangle is 150 square feet. Find the length. Now the length of a rectangle is 5 less than twice the width. So everything is in terms of the width. So I'm going to let x be the width. We're talking about two things here, the length and the width. So we'll let x be the width. Now it says the length is 5 less than twice the width. Now 5 less means I subtract 5. I subtract 5 from twice the width, which would be 2x. So the length is 2x minus 5. Now that's step 1, assigning variables. Step 2 is to form the equation. Well, remember the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. Now the area of this particular rectangle is 150 square feet. So if I multiply the length times the width, I get 150. So 2x minus 5, the length times the width x is 150. If I distribute, I get 2x squared minus 5x is equal to 150. Now I'm going to put it in standard form by subtracting 150 from both sides to get 2x squared minus 5x minus 150 is equal to 0. Now I need to factor. This tells me my signs are going to be different. So I know one's going to be plus and one's going to be minus. I also know that the only way of getting 2x squared is 2x times x. Now let's see how we can get a negative 150. Well, we know that we can multiply negative 15 times 10. We can several ways, but I think what works will be a positive 15 times a negative 10. Let's try that. A positive 15 times a negative 10. Okay, let's check. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times a negative 10 is a negative 20x. 15 times x is 15x. Now negative 20x plus 15x is a negative 5x. Then a positive 15 times a negative 10 is negative 150. So we have the factors are 2x plus 15 times x minus 10. Now what we want to do is to set each of those factors equal to 0. So I want to say 2x plus 15 is equal to 0. X minus 10 is equal to 0. Well, if 2x plus 15 is equal to 0, I need to add a negative 15 to both sides to get 2x is equal to a negative 15. Divide by 2 to get x is a negative 7.5. Now let's think about it in this case. In this problem, x stands for width, the width of a rectangle. The width of a rectangle is a distance. Distance cannot be negative. So from the realistic standpoint, this answer can't be. Mathematically it's fine, but from a physics standpoint it can't be. So we cannot have a negative distance or a negative width. Now let's consider the other one. X minus 10 is equal to 0. Add 10 to both sides. I get x is equal to 10. Now 10 feet is fine. So we say the length is 10 feet. Now the width. The width is 2x minus 5. The length, is 2x minus 5. The length is 2 times the width minus 5. So that would be 2 times the 10 minus 5, which is 15. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 minus 5 is 15. So now we want to write the answer in sentence form. Now the question was find the length, or what we were told was to find the length. So now I need to come down and write the answer in sentence form. So we'll say the length is 20 feet. Now I have a word problem for you to do. The width of a rectangle is 1/2 of the length. The area is 200 square meters. Find the length and width. I'll read it one more time. The width of a rectangle is 1/2 of the length. The area is 200 square meters. Find the length and width. Now you need to stop the tape and work the problem. Now as you work the problem, be sure to show all 4 steps. Assign variables, form the equation, solve the equation, and then write the answer. Once you have finished solving it, showing all 4 steps, restart the tape and compare your answer with my answer. The length is 20 meters and the width is 10 meters. So the answer to the problem is the length is 20 meters and the width is 10 meters. Now there's something else that we can do with quadratic equations. We can solve literal equations that are quadratic in nature. Let's look at this example. Let's solve for a. We have a squared minus 9ab is equal to 10b squared. We want to solve for a. Well, the first step is to put it in standard form. To put it in standard form, I need to subtract 10b squared from both sides to get a squared minus 9ab minus 10b squared is equal to 0. We want to factor the left member. If I factor the left member, I can get a minus 10b times a plus b. Now let's think about the factoring. This tells me the signs will be different. The only way to get a squared is a times a. I have 2 ways of getting, or actually 4 ways of getting 10b squared. I can use 2b times 5b, 5b times 2b, 10b times b, b times 10b. So those were the choices. 10b and b happen to be the choices that gave the correct factorization. So I can completely factor the left member as a minus 10b times a plus b. And of course that would be equal to 0. Now once I get it factored, then I simply set each factor equal to 0. So what I hope you see is that even if things look difficult, if you follow the strategy, it works the same. Simply set each factor equal to 0, and now solve for a. Well, if a minus 10b is equal to 0, all I have to do to get a by itself is to add 10b to both sides. So I get a is 10b. If a plus b is equal to 0, I simply add a negative b to both sides to get a is negative b. So I have the 2 answers. I'm going to check 10b for you, and I'm going to leave you to check negative b. We have a squared minus 9ab is equal to 10b squared. What we're going to do is replace a with 10b. So in place of a squared, I have 10b quantity squared. In place of a, I have 10b. Well, 10b squared is 10b times 10b, which is 100b squared. Now if I multiply 9 times 10 times b times b, I get a negative 90b squared. 100b squared minus 90b squared is 10b squared. So therefore, I know that a equals 10b will be a solution. Like I say, I'm going to leave you to check the other one. Goodbye.